Welcome to your weekly inspiration. I'm Joey Sampaga, and we have Miss DNA Girl.
Or Kathy Beckman.
Or Kathy Beckman. How you doing, Kathy?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. So we are kind of going on a two-parter here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Two-part series. Probably a three-part. There's one more DNA-related experiment that they did. And yeah, so this is part two of what's going on with the DNA and how it can influence us. And if you missed last week was about how our DNA is literally, it corresponds with our immune system. Yes. So when we're feeling emotions of sadness or anger or any negative emotions, our DNA is literally wound up tight, which doesn't allow our immune system to fire. And the opposite is true as well. So when we're feeling love, joy, and happiness, we're relaxed, our DNA is open, which allows our immune system to work and allows us to grow, to be healthier.
Sure.
So today I'm sharing another of the studies that they did. And this study was done by the Army.
Yes, I thought this was very interesting.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So they did a study where they took a donor and they took the little swab on the inside of the mouth and they put the DNA sample in a device that allows them to measure effects of the DNA on the DNA. And then they took the donor, the host, and put him in a room about 50 feet away. And then what they did was they subjected him to stimulus of joy, anger, fear. And what they did was they measured the impact it had on the donor, but then the impact that it had on the DNA. Now, the reason that they were doing this study isn't really what we're talking about today. The reason that they were doing the study was to see if there was actually, if the response had to travel through something to have an effect on the DNA, or if it was instantaneous. Right? Well, because it was instantaneous, they realized that it wasn't actually having to travel anywhere. So we're
amazing.
Yeah, so we're literally connected to our DNA.
That is so amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, so what I thought of immediately was, and maybe I do watch too much Dexter and the crime show, but you know, they're always showing about how they capture suspects and criminals by using the DNA that's left behind at crime scenes. Well, we don't only leave DNA behind at crime scenes, right? We leave DNA everywhere we go, through our hair, our skin, all those different things. And I thought, oh man, if I'm leaving DNA behind, or if people are leaving DNA around me,
what type of DNA is it?
and what's going on with the DNA? Because if that DNA is showing the same response as the host, and I'm around negative people, and they're literally rubbing off on me, I'm having that negative response to the DNA. And what we talked about last week was how other people can affect us, and if other people's emotions are affecting us, and those emotions are in the DNA, and those negative people are rubbing off literally on me, we need to be really careful with who we're spending our time with, because it's literally...
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Are you happy or sad, or are you mad?
I'm very happy.
You sure? Okay, then we're good.
Yes. Because we were already joking earlier. We're like...
Wow, so I can see that happening. I mean, if you're in a grocery store or somewhere else, and you kind of, even if you're just close, I mean, we talked about this last week, if you're close and you kind of feel that energy of them being negative, I mean, it almost just like...
You can feel it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've had people where, you know, especially there's a few people that come to mind that I used to work with, that, you know, you just leave their office, and I used to say, I feel like I need a shower, just to, because they're just so, you know, but science is now proving that. And not to be too graphic, but I think it's really important too for people who are either dating or are in questionable relationships. And when we think about bodily fluids, and we can just stop, if we just talk about kissing only, you can let your mind go to anywhere else you want. But if you're, you know, swapping spit, so to speak, well,
that's true.
You know, I mean, that DNA is with you, and they're traveling with you for a while, so it makes it even more important. The decisions that we're making, who we're choosing to be in a relationship with.
I like that. So if you're married or if you have a significant other, make sure they're in a good mood when you kiss them.
Yeah. Well, and and I started thinking, you see a lot of these like rehab shows or women that are in abusive relationships, and they're in relationships, so you know that they're probably kissing and having DNA on them, and just imagine the negative impact that their partner is having on them.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, it's really important that not only in our relationships, but just with friends and who we come in contact with, who we're swapping DNA with.
Yeah.
Your DNA to yourself. Thank you very much.
That's good. Well, no, I science is just bringing things
God closer.
I mean, it's just proving that there is a God.
Right.
I mean, how can DNA be somewhere that's not physically on my body
Right.
change based off of how I'm feeling?
Right. And no offense to Darwin, but I don't buy that this happened through evolution.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
I mean, if you believe that, I mean, that's
fine.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it. It's hard for me to think that I came from a monkey. So.
Yeah. Well, and there's just so much that logic doesn't. To me, it's not logical that evolution.
Sure.
Like I said,
and if you do believe in that and you'd love to comment, please do comment. We're welcome to listen to your comments and share it with the other people so that you can be heard as well.
Yes, and you know what? And since you brought up that subject, I know exactly what I'm going to write about.
Really? Cool.
It's going to be on the God Code.
Oh, yes.
What information they found in our DNA that does tie right back to God.
Yes. Yes.
So I'll write about that next week.
Cool. I'm looking forward to it. So, until next time.
Watch your DNA and have an inspired week. Bye. You know what? Did you know that they make clear duct tape?
Really?
Yeah. So I went to the store because, I was driving along and the light literally, it just like flew out. And there was this loud noise and I thought I hit something. So I'm like, what the hell? And I'm looking in my rearview mirror. So I got off the throughway and my headlight's hanging there.
Wow.
So I put it back in and it must have been the wind that actually pushes it out. So I go to the store to get duct tape, and I'm looking at the different colors, and I'm like, oh great, I'm gonna have to put this ugly gray duct. But then I saw blue, and I'm like, oh my car's blue, that'll look better. And then I saw clear.
Really?
So I mean, you could still tell that I had duct tape on my car, but it wasn't like super obvious.
Wow! So they make designer duct tape now.
Yeah, So even when I went to go get it done, and the guy looked at it, he's like, he started laughing. I'm like, clear duct tape. He's like, oh my god.
Now we just got to get a whole collection.
I know, it'd be kind of fun.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it's a little.
Because guys, our favorite tool is duct tape. Actually, it's second. We like hammers.
Hammers. Well, and for women that live alone, duct tape. That's what I told the mechanic. I go, I don't know what the world would be without duct tape and super glue.